Hello Spidey fans, web slingers and wall crawlers. I'm your host, the J-Man. Welcome to my video, and today we're going to be discussing Spider-Man, the future of the film series. Okay, so a few months back it was reported that Sam Raimi was taken out of assignment for directing Spider-Man. Spider-Man 4 we're talking about. Sony Pictures decided to release him. I think Raimi decided that they weren't giving him enough time to make the film he wanted, so himself and Sony decided to part ways. So now I think it's still up in the air as to who the director will be for the film, but they want to go in a completely different direction. I think they're going to retool the script. The guy David Lindsay Bear, he wrote the script, and now they want to change the plot and also incorporate the new 3D technology that we saw in Avatar. So that's very exciting. But now that Sam Raimi is no longer in the director's chair, we're kind of left wondering, okay, what's the film going to be like? But I, for one, am in favor of this, although I don't dislike Sam Raimi. I thought he did a really good job on the original Spider-Man movie, but it is kind of getting stale, kind of repetitive. I'm glad they're switching it up. I think, most importantly, they need to change the cast. Definitely get rid of Tobey Maguire. Not that he's a horrible actor or he didn't look the part. He did, but let's get somebody new in there. I'm tired of seeing Tobey. I don't like him that much as Peter Parker anyway. Kirsten Dunst, I'm not a huge fan of her either. I think we could have a much better Mary Jane, but I'd just like to see how another cast would look and feel. So thankfully we're going to get a new cast, a new script, new director. But the biggest question on everybody's mind, I believe, is which villain are we going to see? Who's going to be the villain this time? Is there going to be more than one villain? What saga are they going to go with? Are they going to use a saga directly from the comic books? You know, if they're going in the same direction as the comics, if they're following that storyline, right about now, this is the point in the storyline where the Maximum Carnage saga begins. So they would have to incorporate Carnage and some of the other villains during that time. Maybe not all of them. Probably not all of them because there were a lot. But definitely Carnage and more of Venom. As well as the Black Cat, who's not really a villain per se. More along the lines of a in-between or hero. So, I like that direction if they choose to go that way. It will be very difficult because of the level of violence, the level of darkness that the Maximum Carnage saga was known for. But it's not to say that it couldn't be pulled off. I would like very much to see the Black Cat in the next film. I think she almost has to be in the next film. And, you know, Venom didn't do too well. In the previous film, I think he was underplayed, underdeveloped, and yeah, the fan reaction to Venom it wasn't very good. But if they do the Maximum Carnage saga, they have to use him in not just use him, but in a lot larger capacity, which means they need to flesh out his role, his significance, and background. But, you know, it would be really interesting to see how they're going to do that. It'd be hard to write a story to bring back the symbiote, because supposedly it was blown to smithereens in the last film. And what about Eddie Brock? He's pretty much dead, right? So who's going to be the new Venom? Very interesting. But if they don't go with the Maximum Carnage saga, which villain are they going to choose? What would be a logical choice? You have a huge cast of villains, some more popular than others, obviously, but we've pretty much covered the most popular ones: the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and the Sandman. Alright, now there's a couple more popular ones that haven't been seen, but it all depends how well they translate to film, how well they translate into the plot. I, for one, would really like to see Mysterio. I think he would work very well in a film, in a movie. There's a lot you can do with him. He's very epic, large, and imagine the special effects that you could use, especially with the 3D technology. Mysterio is all about illusions and overwhelming his opponent visually and things of that nature. So yeah, Mysterio I think would be a very good choice. On the other hand, he's not a very big physical threat, so you might need an alternate villain as well, someone that Spider-Man could, you know, stand toe-to-toe with. Things that come up in my mind are Rhino, the Lizard, but it might be hard to work out a plot with those characters. A guy wearing a Rhino costume, that's pretty silly. I don't know if that would go over very well in a movie. A man turning into a lizard, that's just pretty weird. It has been done in other films and requires a lot of CG. So maybe those aren't very good choices either. But my pick is Mysterio if they don't decide to go with the Maximum Carnage saga. But I do hope they decide to use Carnage, which would be my #1 pick. Internet fans have been talking how they'd love to see Jim Carrey behind the Carnage symbiote as, you know, Cletus Cassidy. I think that would be a fantastic pick. I don't know if they could get him, but if they could, wow. Another guy who kind of looks like Cletus Cassidy would be Matthew Lillard, if you've seen him. I think he is close resemblance. But anyway, I'm very hopeful for the next Spider-Man film, although it's pretty far off. Make sure you give me your thoughts and what your opinion is. I want to know, what villain would you most like to see in the next Spider-Man film? Who would you want to be the main villain? Alright, well, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.